Hello and welcome to the MikoBits show. I'm your host, MikoBits, and I have a very exciting show for you today, and it has a special guest who is Haseeb Awan, CEO of Efani, which is a security-based telecommunications company. So what I want to do before I introduce Haseeb is explain a little bit about what we're talking about today. We're talking about an extremely popular hack, and it is a hack attack called the SIM swap attack. Now, I myself have been targeted by the SIM swap attack, and I can tell you that it is terrible. It's an attack on your phone. And as you guys know, everything is on your phone. Your whole life is on your phone. And if the hackers take your phone, it feels awful. It is really a bad situation. So, as I said, this has happened to me. And so because of that, and ever since then, I've been passionate about helping users get protection from this kind of an attack. And that's why I have Haseeb on our show to talk a little bit more about this crazy hack attack. So, Haseeb, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mike.
great to have you on here. And first things first, I would love to have you explain, what is the SIM swap attack?
The SIM swap attack is pretty simple. Actually, not as simple, but what happened, I think about it, when you make a call, you expect the phone to work. You expect when people call you, expect to work. Now, think about someone stole your phone, and now he's in possession of your phone, and anyone that's the call that's supposed to go to you comes to that person. So this is it. So he can maybe use your phone, maybe use your number to call anyone or receive calls. So now, technically, as practical people think that it can only happen if people physically take control of them. But no, they can use another method called SIM hacking, in what they buy a new SIM card and they transfer your number to a SIM card that they control. So after that, anyone who calls you basically goes to them. Anyone they call, they will believe that, okay, this person is actually this is me actually, it's you who is actually calling it. So they take over your identity. Then they go into social media, Facebook or email accounts, and they start doing password reset because everything is linked to your telephone number. And then they take over, get into your Gmail account or any Hotmail, any account. And after that, man, things get very, very interesting, as in they run a cron job to see which accounts do you have on every social media, every financial.
So let me understand this. So during this attack, the hacker basically grabs your phone number and then connects it to their phone.
Correct. So they have a SIM card that exactly. So they now control your telephone number.
That is terrible. And obviously they're able to get SMS messages, and I think, as you describe, people can then send messages and receive messages just like you. And of course, if your phone number is part of your password recovery, let's say for your email or Facebook or for your bank, right? Then they can reset your password to anything they want, right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's
so what happened?
Terrible.
Yeah. So 100%. So what happened is they will give you a call. They will actually go to Gmail. That's the first step they do.
Yeah.
So they will just go into a Gmail and do a password reset. And once they have it in your email, they will actually technically go into any account because they can run a cron job. So their bot will run through a Gmail and search for all the subscription and all the accounts you have. So like Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, every pretty much bank you have, all the exchanges, they'll search for those keywords and find out which accounts you have. Then they will go on all these exchanges and do a password reset. And guess what? Exchange have two ways to verify you: email and password. The email and telephone number. Now they have control of your telephone number. They also have control of your email. So they'll do a password reset, and then they are in your account. And after that, man, first of all, they take your entire financial life, and then they get into your social life. They will go into your iCloud, your Facebook, your email, and download all the information.
Yeah. It's definitely a terrible thing. For me, in my situation, I lost my phone number for maybe a total of 15 minutes. And during that time, I got it back because I immediately called my carrier. And I was like, this is bad. You got to help me. You got to get the number back. So during that short time, the hackers had already got 2 Gmail accounts.
Yeah.
And they also got my Facebook account, and so it was definitely a pretty bad experience for me. The good news was that after getting the number, once you get the number back, then I was able to kind of fight them off, but it took a lot of time. And the thing that was crazy in my story is I was actually at the airport and I was supposed to fly to Switzerland, and I ended up not flying. Because I was just like, it was just, I could not get on a plane. Like, I was not going to get on a plane. I was like, I gotta fix this. It was a really desperate feeling. It's a very bad feeling. So now we know, what is it? It's basically hackers able to steal your phone number and make it their phone number, right? So the question that I have is how do they do that? Like, how do they get your phone number? Like, isn't your phone number like yours? Like, how do they get your phone number?
So technically it's yours, but the thing is, like, it also allows you to transfer it to anyone else's place. So I'll give you an example. Imagine, so I'll give you a simple example. It's like a storage room, right? You have your car sitting in storage, but it means that anyone who have a key can take over your car. So if you park in a valet parking, what you do is you give them your ticket number, and the valet guy will say, "Hey, thank you, Michael. This is your car."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Similarly happens, like you have AT&T and you want to go to T-Mobile, so you have an option because you believe that T-Mobile is better or T-Mobile is giving a good deal. So so according to the laws of US, which is dictated by FCC, you can walk into any company and transfer your number anytime you want.
Oh, I know this. This is phone number portability, right? It's a law.
Correct.
Right. So there's a law which says that you can move your phone number, and that so because the customer wants to get a new phone, or they want to so the customer should be able to move their phone number. So how does the hacker move the phone number without your permission?
So they don't do it. So they pretend to be you, right? So it's simple. Like, you need 3 things to transfer the number. One is your account number, which is on top of your bill. Second is your telephone number, and the third is your zip code. Literally these 3 things. The zip code, I can pretty much find anyone's zip code by just doing a Google search.
Yeah, that's easy.
And there are companies like your current carrier will be selling you data. So if you look at your agreement that you signed up with, probably with Google Fi or T-Mobile, it actually says in the contract that they monitor, they share, they sell your information. That's part of your contract. Basically, you're the product.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's actually part of their contract. And there are a lot of companies who will be proudly selling you data. And if you go to like TeleSign, or there are 20, 30 companies that you can, and they say probably, you ask them, how do you buy data? The telecom companies sell you data. So similar to a UPS, right? If you go to UPS and you say, I want to send this spam mail or like junk mail to all the people in this area, they'll say, hey, we will send it to these areas.
So the hacker gets your phone number, of course, right? And then they get your account number, right?
Correct.
And then they get your zip code. Is that all? Is that all they need?
That's all. That's all.
Oh my God, that is terrible. Like, don't they need to show like government ID, or don't they?
No, because the thing is, like, a lot of activations are done on the online too. Like, you can go online and do an activation. So you can buy a SIM card on eBay for like $2, get it delivered to you, and then just do like this information is very easy to find.
It's so easy.
It's super easy, yeah. So these are only 3 things that are required.
That's amazing. That's terrible. My friend Michael
It's
Turpin.
not amazing, it's terrible, but
I was gonna say my friend Michael Turpin was actually hacked, and the hacker was a 15-year-old kid who was in high school, and I believe that the amount was something like it was cryptocurrency, so he lost something like $40 million or something. It was a huge sum, and the thing that was amazing is the kid's parents thought that he won money by playing video games.
Yeah.
So the kid was like buying a car, like he was just buying like crazy things, and he kept telling his parents, he's like, I'm really, really good at video games, and I won so many prizes, and now look at me, like I'm buying, I do you want a car? I'll buy you a car, and he just was going crazy. So this is really disturbing.
what more disturbing is a lot of people who actually stole money and they've been almost guilty. They're like right now even out of the jail. So a lot of people who were criminal, they were out of the jail and they're chilling right now. And
Unbelievable.
I think if you look at the case, I believe he got sentenced for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And as per the law, like I'm not like exactly sure, but I'm just giving you like example about like law. So don't say that I missed it, but I'm just giving. So imagine he was in law for 5 years. So because he's a kid, he will have to serve 3 years.
Oh, of course, he's juvenile, right? So it's easy
But
for him.
The most funny part, because during the time of the trial, he was already in jail. So it even cut down to like even 2 years or something, right? And I think if he does a good conduct, he may be out in 1 year or something.
Yuck.
And he get to keep all the money.
Oh my God, it's insane.
So the judge told him that if you give the money, you will get like 2 years in jail. If you don't give the money, you'll get like 2.5 years in jail. So
that's crazy.
So tell me, if
keep the money. That's just terrible.
Obviously, that's like terrible, right?
That's
so that's like
terrible.
Like,
what a disgrace.
I know, like, this is what happened. So now technically, I don't know how the law works, but right now he actually will come out clean in maybe like 2 years. And then with like a couple of $1 million still sitting with him.
That's
and a lot of majority of the people who were SIM swapped, they're out of the jail already. So I think out of like 10, only 1 or 2 got like guilty.
So the thing, so I know that we talked about my friend who had quite a lot of cryptocurrency, right? Yeah. And the thing that happens with that is, like they definitely get into everything and they start stealing information and then they get access. But like, what if a user doesn't have Bitcoin or doesn't have any cryptocurrency? Like, do they have to worry about this? Like, is there any problem with this? Like,
it all depends on the customer to customer, right?
Okay.
Think about it. If someone have access to your bank account, can someone access to your email account, someone access to your telephone number, should you worry about it or not? That's the only question. If it does, then then you should worry. If you're not, then obviously you should not worry.
Yeah, I get it. Like one example that comes into my mind is if you remember, there were the emails from Jeff Bezos, right? And Jeff Bezos was emailing his girlfriend, and it was kind of in the middle of his divorce, and all these kind of funny messages that people didn't really like, and maybe there were some pictures in the messages that maybe not so good, so there may be ways, especially if they're using a smartphone that has some kind of SMS based like backup, so you can like say, I want to look at my backup, I want to get my I have a new phone, right? I have my same phone number, I have a new phone, I want to bring all my old messages back onto my phone. All of a sudden, these guys have stuff. So maybe it depends on the person, but it does sound like there's some scary things people can do.
Yeah, again, it all depends, right? Like, I think there isn't a doubt that someone will not like privacy. Like people will say, like, you can, like, even you don't even share your cell phone with a lot of people, close friends or something. It's just personal, right?
Yeah.
So coming back to the point of, should you worry? Absolutely. Because I will give example, 90% of Efani customers are non-crypto.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's really amazing. So I would love to kind of get a taste of kind of like the types of customers that you're serving today. Like, it's a real interesting service. And tell me a little bit about, first of all, Efani, like what is Efani?
Oh, thank you. So Michael, I don't know if you know that I got SIM swapped 4 times.
Four times? That's terrible.
Yeah. And then at that point in time, I'll say, like, how bad a carrier has to be that they can't protect it. So I realized there was a need for having a boutique kind of a cell phone service.
Yeah.
And if you look at crypto, like we have built pretty much everything except a telecom company, right? Like you have all kind of tokens, but there was no telecom company that was built. So that's like what happened.
Got it.
So now, long story short is that, can we, so my goal was to build a telecom.
Got it.
And by chance, I'm a telecommunication engineer. So I've said, okay, let me build. And I'll start with a company called Don't Port. I just made a joke of it.
Don't Port, yes.
Don't Port, like, and my goal was like, people say, what do you do with it? Company says Don't Port. So what we do, we don't port. That's the only thing we do.
Got it.
And then I realized there's a need for having a private and secure cell phone service. And the customer profile we were getting were non-crypto, mostly like doctors, engineers. We have a lot of celebrities and major crypto folks. So
celebrities. Tell me about the celebrities.
Well, you've seen that on TV. They're famous stars. They're Oscar winners. They are playing basketball right now, and they are someone that you admire with like tens of millions of Twitter followers.
Wow.
And the thing is, like, because our service is most private, so we can't disclose our customers
Sure.
unless they believe they want to disclose themselves,
Of
which a
course.
lot of people have. Like in crypto, like you can see Charlie Schramm, Scott Melker, Josh, like maybe like pretty much every major person in crypto
That's
is our
great.
customer.
That's
A
great.
lot of people don't share their information, so we just like respect that, obviously, because we are in business of privacy and security, but we only cater to the top 2-3% of the crypto or any industry. um, so yeah,
That's
so unless you
fantastic.
have not important, it's not worth switching to our service.
Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting to hear. So it sounds like it's a very VIP service, very white glove, and very sophisticated users, famous celebrities, famous crypto people. Obviously, Charlie Schramm, very famous in crypto. Amazing part of the book Bitcoin Billionaires. So a really fascinating guy. He even had a Bitcoin address carved into a ring that he wore on his finger, and he didn't have the full address. Like he had 5 digits memorized in his head, but he had everything else carved in a ring. Fascinating guy, really early Bitcoiner. So very very cool that he's your customer, and cool that he's proud to let people know about your service. So I think that's very exciting. So one of the things I wanted to ask is like, I know that there are probably lots of people in the audience who may not consider themselves to be sort of famous celebrities. Is there a way that like a normal person might easily or for free get additional protection from this SIM swap?
100%, I said we are only for the top 2-3%.
Yeah.
So like if you're among the bottom 97%, you don't need to switch. As I said,
How do you protect yourself?
yeah, so I'll cover to that. And one thing I want to clarify is that if you can't afford a security, you certainly cannot afford a breach. You know, that's like one thing that's very, very important, because obviously when you have you have a lot of money, people get attention. But if you lost like $20,000, $30,000, no one will even listen to you. Like try calling a cop and do something, because no one cares. Like Michael Turpin is getting so much attention because he has a lot of money and he can basically fund the entire case.
Yeah.
But for average consumer, they don't have it, so they lose everything.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So other than that, like I think the base. So the couple of things that you can do. We also mentioned that on our website on Efani.com on how you can do it. But simple thing is have a two-factor authentication either by hardware key like YubiKey, or Google have like multiple options too.
Yeah.
Or have an app based like Google Authenticator on Authy.
Yeah. So I love YubiKey. YubiKey is super exciting. I'm definitely a huge fan. So I'm definitely a strong user of YubiKey. So encourage everyone to use it. And for me, you mentioned Google Authenticator, which is a great product. But I actually use the YubiKey or Yubico Authenticator. So that's my feeling.
Yeah, certainly. So I use, like, obviously I will not tell you which one I use, but I use one of the relatively unknown. And the reason for that is purely because I want to protect my security mechanism. And the other part about YubiKey is a great company. And I think there are like 30 other companies like YubiKey who do the same purpose. I think Google have one of their too. So this is one thing. But even if you use even if you don't want to spend like $50, right? You can just go to like Google Play Store or App Store and download Google Authenticator and
Yeah.
or
That's completely free.
Authy. Yeah, or Authy. It's free of cost. Literally takes 5 minutes.
Terrific.
You'll be surprised of how many people don't do it
Yep.
because they feel it's inconvenient and everything. And I tell this to man, frankly, you may want to wait, but the hackers do not want to wait. They're actually out there finding that opportunity when you're vulnerable. Like in your case, it's just a matter of time. Like, they may be tracking you
Yeah.
to see where you're flying,
Yeah.
and maybe they just acted on it like maybe 10 minutes early or 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
Because once
There's
you were in
definitely
plane,
tracking.
yeah, so they do track you.
Yeah.
They have algorithms and companies are selling data, so they can track you and see, okay, this person is flying somewhere, so it's time to attack you.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. And again, they may not even take crypto. Like in my case, they were unable to take in crypto, but the inconvenience and like problem of like updating your number and everything, that becomes a lot of
Got it.
super inconvenient.
So the quickest free thing would be to get a free download of something like Authy or something like Google Authenticator app.
Yeah.
So you just have a free app, you download those things. That's fantastic. I'm going to put links to those free downloads in the comment section, so in the description. So you should be able to just get those things for free. I'm also going to provide a link for Yubico, where you can get a YubiKey, and that's actually not free, but it's also fairly inexpensive and a highly recommended product. So I think that's obviously worth looking at. And I guess that's really a big part of kind of getting personal cybersecurity. One of the things I wanted to point out as well is, Haseeb is actually a collaborator with me on a website called safercrypto.org. And we actually have lots of tips and tricks on safercrypto.org, including things like how you can protect yourself from SIM swap as well as a number of other attacks. One of the easiest, quickest things that you can do is you can actually go into your Gmail settings, and if there is a phone number for recovery, just delete. Just get the phone number and just delete it. Just get it out, right? Just even having a phone number in your Google account as a recovery, like that is already bad, right? So if you can get that out, like that will already be a step forward for you. Even if, like, let's say for some random reason you don't like Google Authenticator or Authy, right? The bare minimum you can do is get the phone number out of your Gmail. That's the bare minimum. If you don't do that, like you're get ready to lose your Gmail account. So that's the mood. Any other kind of words of advice?
You also keep your software up to date. You'll be surprised at how many people don't even use up-to-date software. So I think I was reading somewhere that I think Windows XP and Windows 7, their market share is around like 50%.
Oh, wow.
And the funny part is both of their products are not supported by Microsoft anymore.
That is absolutely true. And, the thing that's what I'd like to do as well is just to kind of talk about safercrypto.org. Again, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can kind of visit the site and have a look, because there's a section that I call threats. And I have classification of all the kind of threats on the menu. And if you just click the menu, you're going to see SIM swap is there, but you're going to see there's a dozen of other bad things people can do. And the ones we're talking about, for example, if you don't patch your operating system, people can inject malware. They can inject spyware. They can inject keylogger. Like they can do all kinds of anything to you, right? And so to me, like, obviously there's more things to protect, but today I think the hot topic is SIM swap attack. And one of the reasons why this is such a hot topic is it happened to me and it happened to Haseeb like 4 times, right? So like, what I'm saying is this is not a obscure, mysterious, weird, obscure. It'll never happen. Like, no. This is real. And this one, like, it's so. I think Haseeb made it clear how easy it is for hackers to steal your phone number and then begin stealing everything, stealing social networks. So maybe one thing I'd love to hear you explain is, like, what does a hacker do if they get your social account? What are some good things they could do inside of your Facebook or inside of Instagram or some social media?
So multiple things, like, marriages have broken, frankly, relationships have been destroyed, business partnerships have been destroyed. So you'll surprised at how many calls you get.
So they could do blackmail.
They can do blackmail. Like, some people have personal pictures, like they got into iCloud and they were able to see picture. There were events of revenge porn. There were events of, personal documentation being leaked, business partnerships broken. I had a couple of people whose clients' information was stolen, and they were blackmailed that, hey, if you don't give out information about if you don't give us information about, how can I say that? If you don't pay us like $1,000 per month or $2,000 per month, we will call your clients and tell them we have your information. Like, think about it. If you're a lawyer, if you're a lawyer and your clients get a call that, hey, I'm a criminal based somewhere, and I have this information that is proprietary, and I'll leak it on the internet if you don't pay me $1,000.
It's unbelievable. It's
not
unbelievable.
One day, per month.
Per
right?
month.
Per month. So they basically, this is the best way. So you are bound to pay them money.
We saw the leak on WikiLeaks of the Panama Papers, right?
Yeah,
so these are very, very confidential proprietary information about business dealings that nobody wants leaked. So that's a big deal. Obviously, any kind of personal secrets you may have, those are a big deal. And so obviously that can happen. Another thing that I think is also scary is that now the hacker actually has a way of reaching out to your social network pretending to be you, right?
And that happens quite often. Some people talk impersonation, but imagine with the deep fake stuff we have, we can actually replicate anyone's voice.
Yeah. One of my friends runs a multinational corporation, and his country manager in Brazil actually got attacked in a deepfake attack. And that this deepfake attack, it was a WhatsApp messenger, and the attacker actually used the CEO's voice and said, I have a business transaction. So there's a voice message inside of WhatsApp, and he was definitely trying to get a bank transfer. So that doesn't require a SIM swap, but it's really just another vector. But if they have your social network and they can pose as you, then they can, for example, they can ask you for money. They don't even have to use Bitcoin. They can ask for Western Union, or they can ask for any, please, I'm in trouble. I'm trapped in a country and I need transfer. I'm trapped in Nigeria. They're holding me hostage. Please help me. It's this kind of a thing, and they can reach out to everyone. So it's definitely a dirty business.
Yeah, I was talking to a lot of time. What happened is we had a case where a lady was on a family plan, and the relationship was in a trouble. And so what she did was she actually did a SIM swap on his partner. Right, because when you're on an account, so one of the things that people don't realize is when you're on a family plan, you can actually look into anyone's account.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Right? And if you use your corporate plan, a lot of times the corporation have access to your personal number.
Oh, yes.
So think about, you work for a company and they have access to all your records. So in that case, a woman was able to find out the call record, and not just that, she was able to SIM swap her husband, and then just get information on where travel to Uber, right? So she looked at if Uber, you can do a password reset.
Wow.
That's how, and that basically ended up a relationship. And so we went through all the discussion, and so we do actually a funny niche that we have is divorce lawyers.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. The other thing, a divorce lawyer representing their client could potentially get proprietary information using this method. So that can be very, very decisive. I think the other thing that it becomes really interesting in that situation is things like a small business, right? So in a small business, you could potentially, your business partner could do something unethical, or they could potentially steal your number. They could the idea that there are insiders that can potentially perpetrate this type of thing onto you is scary.
Yeah, 100%. I think so that, again, this is what we do. So there are thousands of things. Think about it. If anyone have access to your telephone number, what they can do. It's not just crypto, but it's also getting into a personal account like Telegram, WhatsApp, Signal. You can do multiple things through that. I don't know about Signal, but Telegram and WhatsApp for sure. You can get into groups that you don't have access to, social media, Twitter. It all depends on, again, easiest barometer is think about a criminal have access to your telephone number, and the criminal also have access to not just to telephone number, but he also have access to your how can I say that? Yeah, he has access to your telephone number and also access to your email address and social media. And his only intention is to hurt you. Should you care or not?
Terrifying. That is terrible. And it's interesting the wrinkle that you provided with this kind of divorce scenario as well, or in a case like a unscrupulous business partner, or maybe some, because what you're describing now is maybe no longer a scenario where it's sort of an unknown hacker, but it's actually a malicious, someone who has a personal vendetta, right? Someone who's personally trying to hurt you, through this vector, right? So the thing with obviously with a hacker, unknown hacker, it's often just a commercial financial thing. They may blackmail you, they may find things, they may find data, but like if you think about the scenario you're describing where there's a personal vendetta, then it can also get very dark. Well, this has been, this has been a fascinating conversation. I just like to give you kind of a opportunity to make any kind of closing statement. So, any last words of advice for audience members?
Yeah, I think like telephone has been something people that care about privacy. Privacy is not like, it's not like a cool anymore. Like, it's not just cool. People talk about privacy, hey, and I get a lot of like criticism sometimes from people. They say, why, if I'm not doing anything illegal, why should I be care about like my telephone number being like, private? And I said, think about, would you be comfortable having a camera in your washroom, right? And they say, I said, you're not doing anything illegal or wrong. It's just nature. You want some privacy, right? So similar with the cell phone too. A cell phone, I use my cell phone at least 6 to 8 hours per day. So now the question becomes is that, should I deserve some privacy on my cell phone? Absolutely, I think I should. Or people say, okay, I get a cell phone cheap from AT&T. That's why I should go with them, and you don't provide a cell phone. I say because you can live on the street and that will be free for you. Why don't you live in a house to begin with? Because you want privacy, right? You can have 10 roommates or you can have 20 roommates and reduce your cost.
Sure, right? Of course.
And that's why you travel in a car and not in a public transport, because you also need privacy. That's why people play in jet plane.
Makes
yes,
sense.
you are saving 10-20%, but you are the product. So if you want to have maybe, and if your only goal is to make $10-15 by selling your entire soul, entire freedom, then I guess you're selling yourself too cheap. I can install a camera in your house and maybe just by streaming on YouTube, maybe make a few $100s per month.
That makes good sense.
Privacy, security, and like people can have access to your personal information, and it's legally stored information that you have given the right when you sign the contract. Like in Efani, we don't track, monitor, or like we are privacy people. We don't upsell you. We only have one thing. That's all. Privacy and security. And the other part about this is we actually, frankly, think we are take your privacy seriously. It's not a joke anymore. We suffer a lot of people who cry on the phone, and we can't help them out because it's too late. Even you cannot afford it, or you believe that this is out of your ballpark, or we cannot serve you for any reason. Just do this basic things, because once you get hacked, you should at least have a less loss. So please do it right now. Don't delay it. Do it literally, and you'll be surprised at how many people even don't put password on their computers.
Yeah, well, that's very wise and that's very helpful. So I just wanted to thank you for being on the MikoBits show with us, and hope to have you back.
Thank you, Miko.
So what I wanted to do is just do a bit of a quick recap. So what we learned today is we learned that hackers can quite easily steal your phone number. And today, everybody's life and their whole identity is tied to that phone number. And of course, if they're malicious actors, or let's say it's someone with a vendetta against you, someone who's really an enemy, or maybe it's someone who used to be a very close friend, or even your partner or your spouse, but now things are not going well. These things can really result in a very bad situation for you. So I did want to say that, of course, we did cover some very easy and free ways to provide security to your phone number. And I think those are really highly recommended. But of course, if you feel like you're a member of this VIP circle of customers that Haseeb pointed out, I definitely do recommend that you consider Efani. I think as a closing note as well, we have a tremendous amount of useful content on safercryptos.org. And so I will put the link in the description so that you can check it out. And I think that there are lots of things that you can do every day to, even just for free, incrementally improve your online cybersecurity. And the feeling of freedom and the feeling of security and safety And it makes you even a more open and friendly person because you just feel much more relaxed and you get peace of mind. So just a little bit of cybersecurity each day can really help you feel much better about your situation, your privacy, your security, and really your overall situation online. So please check it out. And thanks for watching the MikoBits show. See you next time.